Today at noon in Washington, D.C., as Barack Obama was sworn in as our 44th president, skies were partly cloudy. The temperature was in the upper 20s with a gusty northerly breeze, a bit on the chilly side compared to most presidential inaugurations. Now, the average high on January 20th in the nation's capital is 42, average noon temperature 37. Historically, there's a 1 in 6 chance of precipitation during the ceremony, but just a 1 in 20 chance of snow. No precipitation there today during the swearing in. Prior to 1937, presidential inaugurations were actually held in early March, but even then the weather could be an issue. In 1841, William Henry Harrison gave the longest inaugural speech on record, almost 2 hours, on a cool, windy day without a hat or coat. He died a month later from a cold that turned into pneumonia, though historians disagree on whether his illness was directly linked to his inauguration. In 1889, his grandson, Benjamin Harrison, our 23rd president, took the oath in a downpour under an umbrella on a chilly 40-degree day. The snowiest inauguration was in 1909 for William Taft. 10 inches brought much of Washington to a standstill, and 6,000 workers needed 500 wagons to clear the parade route. Taft joked to a reporter, "I always knew it would be a cold day when I got to be president." The first January inauguration was in 1937 for FDR's second term, and it turned out to be the rainiest January 20th on record in Washington. Rain came down hard between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m., and the temperature at noon was just 33. Undeterred, Roosevelt watched the inaugural parade splash by for an hour and a half from an exposed viewing stand. Snow and cold was the issue in 1961 for John F. Kennedy. 8 inches fell the day before the inauguration, leaving thousands of cars marooned around the city. Skies did clear for the swearing in, but the temperature at noon was just 22 with a wind chill below zero. As for temperature extremes, the warmest January inauguration was in 1981, when temperatures were in the mid-50s for Ronald Reagan's swearing in. Ironically, the coldest was also for Reagan in 1985. The temperature at noon was just 7 with wind chills in the minus teens. The weather was so harsh that the parade was canceled and the swearing in was moved indoors. Washington, D.C. may be only a few-hour drive from much of Pennsylvania, but weather-wise it's often a different world. Case in point, so far this winter, while nearly all of Pennsylvania has had several accumulating snows, Washington hasn't even had measurable snow yet. We'll be back in a moment with more Weather World.